Basketball.
It's time to strap in and get ready. The Insight NBA team is in the arena, bringing you the ultimate play-by-play on who's hot and who's not to help you win your leagues and dominate your mates. You're now hooping with your hosts, Matty G, Skiddy, and Mally for the Insight NBA show.
G'day everyone, we're here for a good time, not a long time. We are the Insight NBA crew. I am Matty G, also known as at NBAGWiz, and this is Skiddy, also known at Skiddy IFS. How you doing, man?
I'm good, G-Wiz. A little bit tired. We're recording a bit late, but at least I'm not as tired as or as asleep as the Los Angeles Lakers were after halftime today against the Nuggets. Am I right?
What the happened there? I was out. You can see, look, Christmas tree is up in the
Very nice.
in the house in the household. We were out of Santa photos early this morning. Legitimately, it was a day. So I was only getting the updates from the last half of the games in the afternoon, and I saw okay, because Sportsbet had, and I don't know why, had, I think it was $1.65 for the Lakers and $2.35 for the Nuggets, and I'm like, the Nuggets haven't lost to the Lakers in so long.
Yeah, but they were without Aaron Gordon, so.
And I'm like, is it that much? Like, he's had some vapor. Like, he's had some games where he's like not even present on the court for the Lakers. Sorry, for the Nuggets, and the Lakers have just been like, that's okay, Aaron. You can just shoot. You do what you want.
Yeah,
but Jesus, that second half was a massive stinker.
That shot that didn't go in by Jokic just shows it's so goddamn stuffed. Like, did you see it? There was 0.3 seconds left. They inbounded the ball to Jokic, and he literally didn't even grab it. He just pushed the ball as it was in the air, and it nearly went in from the main court.
And I am just saying, I'm in a league this week where he hasn't been with me, and I've got one team where I've got Wemby, and I've got one team with Jokic. I'm still winning by a good margin when I've basically had no when I've had no Wemby for the week. I've still got it because I've built off his strengths. Like, I'm fine. But the team that I'm missing, Jokic, is such a massive hole. And you can really feel it when he's in your fantasy team and he's not there with how he fills it up, especially on this week. But you're also Cavaliers this week in week 5, which is it's now a quarter of the way through the fantasy basketball season, with many leagues finishing at week 20 or getting to playoffs. The top of the NBA, quarter of the way through the season, but taking their first L in a game that they could have won, had Darius Garland not had the most abysmal field goal percentage, and I'm still bitter about it for my fantasy teams. I'm still bitter.
No, you can't blame that one on DG. No, you have to shoot to spread the floor and be able to do it. Look, it was going to be tough uphill battle when we had literally 4 wings out competing against the team with 2 of the best wings in the NBA and the former champions. I truly believe that if we had the 20 points that Dame Wade scores in the last quarter alone against Boston, we beat them.
Oh, he lit them up. He lit, like, look, I tell you now, if you had a Coro out there causing some mischief, and if you had Levert or Strussi, things could have been done. And again, DG hits 3 more shots of the 28, whatever it is. He had to shoot them, but there was a lot of open looks. There was a layup that he missed. There was a layup that he was on the bucket. You can't help it. You can't explain it. But what we can do is we can explain the injuries, because this is the week 6 preview. We've touched on week 5. We've touched on everything but week 5. But now we're going to touch on the injuries around the league.
Yeah,
Skiddy, take us through, mate.
Thanks, mate. I was going to intro it, but that's fine. We can both do it. How good's that? 2's better than 1, some say. Atlanta.
I'll drink, and without my 4-and-1s.
Nice. That's fantastic then. I'm on the coils at the moment, so how good. Atlanta, they don't really have anyone that's to note. I believe Zeller and Lundy maybe still be out, but they're not really cracking the rotation much. Anyway, Boston, Al Horford is listed for questionable with the illness that he suffered last game. I thought it was just because, they looked like they were going to have an easy game against the Wizards and he decided not to play, but illness it is. Brooklyn, Dorian Finney-Smith will be listed for Sunday's game with a ankle sprain, but shouldn't be too bad for Dorian Finney-Smith and his one owner.
Now, and look, he was a good pickup this week for those.
Yeah,
He's been getting some. It was. We did cite him in the must add show.
Yep.
We did give we did say to give DFS a run, and he provided those owners back with the value. So it is a hit for those who were his out. But look, again, it's not much of a hit because, as you said, it's Dorian Smith.
Claxton's back too, so
exactly. So it doesn't diminish his value much at all. But there is value that's been taken a massive hit though in Charlotte, Skiddy. Miles Bridges, he's been out the last two, bloody walking wounded. And it's funny because we have an injury report from these blokes that we can actually report on the injuries for a nice timely change of pace. Now he's aggravated that bone bruise in his knee. He's missed the last couple of games. Let's see where he is. He's tentative coming back. You could say day to day or week to week. We do expect him probably back towards the latter end of week 6. Trey Mann missed out on Saturday. Grant Williams, he was buggered off into the locker room. He is banged up. Let's wait for an update on him. He will be probably maybe a go, but he is kind of irrelevant because the big news is that Nick Richards and the one that we want, and I've got him in 2 leagues now. I picked him up last week. I was willing to take an L. Mark Williams. They've both returned to activities. They're both playing with the team in scrimmages, and full team activities means these guys could be good to go in week 6. Mark Williams will be a bit hesitant with. If you hear he rests the first one, we pick up Richards and we stream him, but that's a good option. In Chicago, Patrick Williams has missed the last 3 due to an inflammation in his foot. Julian Phillips was out because of illness, and Lonzo Ball is doing some shooting, but he hasn't progressed to contact yet. And in Cleveland, Levert and Dean Wade are out on Sunday, and Isaac Okoro is questionable for that one, Skiddy, so you could be getting one of your Cavaliers wings back for that one. What's happening over in Dallas?
That would be nice. Not nice for Dallas and Luka Doncic owners who has the sprained wrist. He'll be reevaluated later this week, but not good for Luka, obviously, who is such a polarizing figure for fantasy owners. And the Dallas Mavericks, Dan Gafford is listed as questionable for the Sunday game with the Heat with shoulder soreness. I'm pretty sure that was a pretty bad fall, if I do remember it correctly. Denver is still without Aaron Gordon. Other than that, they're pretty good. Detroit, Cade Cunningham doing his damn hip in that game. Yeah. He will miss the game against the Magic tomorrow. Gee, I needed him, and in our Punters Club, we needed Cade Cunningham for a triple-double. He had 7 rebounds at the end of regulation, just got his 10th assist, and we were praying for overtime in that Charlotte game. And then that overtime happens after Ball misses that fadeaway, and Cade doesn't come back on because he's hurt his hip. And I am fuming. So, much like Cade owners in fantasy, because he's been pretty bloody good, that sucks. How about Golden State Warriors?
Mate, Jonathan Kuminga, he was out through illness. He's coming back. And the ACL, we've had the official word, DeAnthony Melton, who looked incredible for the Warriors. And I was looking forward to coming back. It's out, the sprained ACL. He is done for the rest of the season with the Warriors, which is a huge blow to those guys because he looked electric with the Warriors. And he was a great fantasy pickup. So, again, just like last year, Skiddy, I don't have to play the emotional blackmail game of what's happening with DeAnthony? How many IR spots can I hold? He's just done. So, yeah, you're good. Just cut DeAnthony Melton and run. Steven Adams missed out on the Trailblazers game. Second night back-to-back for the Rockets, but don't worry there. Though we do have to keep an eye on what happened with Fred VanVleet making contact randomly with the referee today, complaining and poking the guy's eye out. So let's find out what happens with that one. Probably more of a bruised ego situation than a bruised hip bone. In Indiana, Ben Shepherd remains out of Sunday's game with the Wizards. He's got the oblique strain, whereas the Nems, the Nemhard and the Naismiths, the Horsies, I call them, these guys are both out with ankle and knee injuries, respectively. Look for updates for them, hopefully later into week 6 before we journey to the Clippers.
That's horrible by you, G. Really, really horrible. Piss poor, in all honesty. Clippers, Norm Powell missed another game on Sunday against the Sixers with his hamstring injury, which is annoying, and I'd like to come back. Lakers had a few on the game time with Hachimura and stuff like that, but Vando is pretty much the main one that we are waiting for them to come back. There's still a little bit there to go for the Lakers, but they should be all right soon enough. Ja Morant, Marcus Smart, both out with the hip issues and illness for the Memphis Grizzlies. Zach Edey, who's been called week to week with his ankle sprain. Look, Zach Edey, I'm going to say that we're always going to put a little bit longer on lower body issues for someone that big. He's like Chris
massive man.
Just when he's that, it's always, if they say week to week, look at the end of like 2 weeks. If it's a month, look at like, a month and a half to 2 months. That's just how it's going to be for him. And Vince Williams Jr. has a sprained ankle, reevaluated in about 4 weeks, which is a shame because he just came back from injury. So hate that for Vince.
And this is the thing as well. Like you hit on the nail on the head there. With sprained ankles, Edie, it's all about the complication and the grade of sprain that it is. And although the grade might be different, the recovery is different based on your body type and just the way that they move. And Edie, we know it's going to be 4 weeks for Vince Williams Jr. So maybe it's 3 weeks when we say week to week for Edie. So if we have him, we stash him in IR. If we have the availability, especially if we're a healthy roster, God forbid someone is out there in fantasy world. I don't. If you have a fantasy roster, make sure you hit that one up. But look, it's good to go. But Jimmy Butler with Miami Heat, he is questionable due to illness and sick of Pat Riley's bullshit in Miami. Whereas in Milwaukee, AJ Johnson is out with tendonitis in his Achilles heel. In Minnesota, Mike Conley is going to be out.
Sorry, just quickly, Chris Middleton had an update as well the other day where he looks like he's back to training and should be back for the Bucks within the next couple. Yeah, just got to get
forward to him.
Conditioning up.
And that's fair enough, but he's coming back. But I think he's good news. Whereas we're going to have AJ out just maybe for the rest of this week, which is great though because Middleton slots straight back in. But let's watch that middle like those middle minutes, the Middleton minutes that he gets, the middle and minutes, because he's going to be a really nice buy low candidate. They're going to rest him on back-to-backs. He might not look productive. Like people have held him. Put some trade offers out there because we saw the exact same thing happen with him last year and then him ramp up. So that could be a nice little window that we're looking at very soon for Chris Middleton for all those who have had him or may have stashed him, or if he still is out there on waiver wise, if you didn't want to touch him until he's coming back. Mike Conley is not going to play Sunday against the Celtics with a sprained toe, looking to return in week 6 for Minnesota.
New Orleans, CJ McCollum looks like he's making his return against the Pacers on Monday, which is great news. Missy has missed on Friday's game with the shoulder soreness. Expect him maybe play, but also it's kind of a watch and see. And surprise, surprise, Zion Williamson has now been told that he's going to miss more time than initially expected with his hamstring injury. So that's just the absolute story of Zion's career, unfortunately. New York, Miles McBride is still out with a knee injury, but he comes off the bench and they don't have a bench, so who cares about that? Oklahoma City Thunder, Alex Caruso aggravated his hip injury in last Wednesday's game against the Trailblazers, which is annoying for anyone that has him. Isaiah Joe has missed the last 2 games with a calf injury, but nice to see that we had Isaiah Hartenstein come back for them. And we still got a little bit to wait for, obviously, Chet and Jay Will.
Absolutely. In Orlando, Jalen Suggs left the Saturday game versus the Pistons with a hammy. He didn't come back, so we're waiting for more of an update on his availability in already a depleted Magic team who still is awaiting Wendell Carter Jr., who remains on the sidelines with plantar fasciitis. Joel Embiid is going to miss another game Sunday versus the Clips with the swelling in his knee. He's going to be evaluated. Like Paul George, he's out with a knee injury. There's just cranky knees and cranky old men in Philadelphia in what is the season from hell. And Kyle Lowry is out with a hip strain. Also just old hips. I know this because I'm old. And the hips, they don't work. Yeah, they don't work. I don't know why Kyle Lowry is playing professional basketball and we're the same age. It's horrible. In Phoenix, Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal are back and they've participated in 3-on-3 workouts. And that Mike Budenholzer did say that he expects Bradley Beal to be a full participant in the next game. So we're probably expecting KD to just be behind him.
God, it's nice looking at Philadelphia being 3-13. It's just so good.
Horrible.
Portland wouldn't mind dominating coming back from his Dom asleep. He remains out with his deep contusion in his finger, so please come back. Time Lord Rob Williams had the second of his leg back-to-backs against the Rockets off due to rest, so that is fine there. Scoot Henderson, minor car accident on Thursday and is considered day today, so hopefully everything is all okay there.
And I'm not making this up. I did read that he was on his way back from drive-through, and that's just his whole thing. Like, what do you remember? The food. The second I heard that, I was like, oh, "Damn, Scoot, damn." But so prayers up for him and a speedy recovery for Scoot Henderson.
Yeah, 100%. Sacramento, Malik Monk will be out of the game on Sunday versus the Nets, but good to see that DeMontis Sabonis and DeMar DeRozan both came back. And then San Antonio, Keldon Johnson didn't play on Saturday due to illness, and Devin Vassell has missed the last couple with knee soreness. Should be back soon enough, though. But didn't matter because they still belted the Warriors today, which is good to see there. How about Toronto?
Mate, Bruno Fernando, questionable for Sunday versus the Cavaliers with the sprained ankle. Emmanuel Quickly for all of those. Oh, my God, my Emmanuel Quickly stock. I have so much Emmanuel
You're giving
Quickly
up.
stock. I'm not, no. People have hit me up for trades, and I'm like, you think I'm going to do that now? He is expected back mid-December. I can hold the fort for 3 weeks, though I do own him in 2 10-man leagues with no IR spot. So I am just gripping by the seat of my pants at this point, and I might be forced to trade him in at least one and see how it pans out. But I'm surviving. So we'll see how we go. But
that's the main thing. As long as you're surviving, keep your head above water, then it's all good.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Phil Pawski in the Utah Jazz missed Saturday's game against the Knicks with a sprained ankle. And Washington, Jordan Poole is questionable for Sunday's game versus the Pacers with hip flexor soreness. And Tristan Vukovic will miss another game with his knee contusion over there. But they are looking trash and fun at times. And I just don't know why, but I found myself watching their game the other day versus the Boston Celtics. And it was completely and utterly enthralling. And I actually thought they had a chance of winning it until they actually went to shambles. But I guess that's it. It's time to break down into the weekly preview, Skiddy.
Gee, one quick one as well that we do have to cover. Bruce Brown is expected to be back probably Thursday or Friday this week for the Toronto Raptors. So just keep that in mind for people that are circling the big cock Grady Dick or Oshae Abaji. There is a good chance that Bruce Brown will be back and he'll definitely eat into their minutes.
Yeah, especially while Quickly's out as well. These guys are going to get all of the minutes. Bruce Brown, they'll rush back in, I think. Probably they'll start him slow and then make his way back into the starting lineup. And let's make our way back into the deeps and dives of week 6.
He's heating up.
Look, there's a black day in basketball where we all be pottering around the house, Skiddy, and that is Thursday. In Australia, we know it as Thursday. But they know it. Yeah, they know it as Thanksgiving. So there are no NBA games on Thursday. There's 3 days of action on either side. It's one of the yo-yo weeks. 9 Monday, 6 on Tuesday. Wednesday is 14, no Thursday. Friday is 10. Saturday is 5 and another 10 to complete our week on the Sunday. But there's a bunch of teams, Skiddy. There's a whole lot. Take us through all these 4-game teams in a 6-day schedule. Lots of teams with 4 games. So that actually makes it a bit crazy, and we'll come to it. Take us through these ones, man.
Yeah, so 4 games is nice for the teams that we have on our team, so that we can get them all games in. Obviously, the 3 games are the ones that we want to avoid, but 4s, we got the Hawks, Nets, Hornets, Mavs, Pistons, Pacers, Clippers, Lakers, Grizzly, Heat, Pels, and then the Knicks, Thunder, Magic, Trailblazers, Kings, Raptors, and Jazz, Matty G. So, yeah, we can attack a lot of teams here, obviously. I think it is important to obviously look at the 4-game weeks so we can see like what players are the best ones to pick up for the waiver wire. Obviously, you don't want to pick up a waiver wire guy for him to only play 3 games, or someone that picks up and they don't play the first 2 games or so. But I think the main thing that we have to worry about is looking at these 3-game guys, G Wizzle, and then what are the players to avoid in that aspect?
Well, so we've got the Celtics, the Bulls, the Cavs, the Nuggets, the Warriors, the Rockets, the T-Wolves, the Suns, the Spurs, and the Wizards. And you're right, there are a bunch of these teams in there because there's actually 2 teams that even have a worse schedule. It is not good news for owners of the Bucks and 76ers blokes, especially one Jared McCain and Damian Lillard and Giannis and all those guys. They only play 2 games this week, which is not good news at all. The really interesting thing, is Skiddy, and I know we were messaging this earlier, there's a lot of teams with big breaks as well. So if we look at the 3-game team, we're like, oh, sick. The Celtics have 3 games. I might pick myself up a Sam Howes or a Peyton Pritchard or a Luke Cornett. Great. They play Monday. Their next game is on Friday. Yeah. So they're getting 2 games in between Friday and the weekend. So you might want to think that you're doing that, but then you're actually going to miss out on the next 2 days of the week. And especially hitting the low volume games of Tuesday and Saturday this week, because you're probably not going to get any action on Wednesday. 28 teams in the NBA are playing, man. You're going to be absolutely up. Look, go into any. I'll go through the next bit. I want you to go and pick up any one of your leagues right now, Skiddy, and go into your phone and see if there's any way, shape, or form you have a free spot on Wednesday. It's
no.
There's no way.
No, I already checked, and I definitely do not. The other teams that do not play on that Wednesday are the Bucks and the Celtics. So, yeah, there's no way that you're not going to have enough roster spots on there. It's just how it is.
And the other games with the big breaks at Denver, they've got a game on Wednesday, and their next game is on Sunday. Houston game Wednesday and Sunday as well. Tuesday for the Bucks, like you said, on that low volume day, and then they don't play again until the Saturday. So you'd be using a player for a day, like a Bobby Portis, if you get him kind of guys like that, or fringy guys in, and then pissing them on off. And then on the Spurs, even though they have that 3-game week, it's Wednesday, and then their next game is Sunday. So they've got a massive break. They've got that early. They've got big breaks. So they start the week, they get one, they skip it, and then they go. It's a bit of a crazy mishmash of a week, man. But you can finish off the week, even though you want to grab that Monday. So check your roster for Monday. And if you want to finish strong, Skiddy, take us through these teams that we can finish our week strong with.
Yeah, so Sunday, Monday, which are the guys that are right at the end. The Celtics, the Nets, the Mavs, Pacers, Clippers, Kings, and Raptors. So that's just a good way to look at it. And you go, okay, I have this. I have these guys that can start that end my week and then start the next week. They are able to be targeted there and be able to help you win. Win each one of win this week and then start off the next week right.
100%. I'm thinking guys like TJ McConnell are really good pickups in this situation for the Indiana Pacers, especially with Naismith and with the Horsey boys that are out. The Naismith and God are all out of here. The Clippers. Look, even a bit of Kevin Porter Jr. action. Chris Dunn, if he's still available, starting is a good shout there. Obviously, with the Raptors, you said Ochai Agbaji, Grady Dick. People are just off the dick, one would say. And so you could, but you might be able to get a bit of a look in there. You might be able to get some Chris Boucher action in to finish out your week. Bite down like it. Yeah. The Mavericks, look, fringy guys there, Najee Marshall at best. Celtics, you've got Hauser around. And then the Kings, Keon Ellis, he could blow up 30-plus points or then plummet back to earth the next game. So...
Man, looking at that box score, because I was watching another game and seeing Keon Ellis had 9 threes and 27 points in the third quarter, I was like, what the hell is going on?
And I love Keon Ellis. I'm probably the most, you probably know, I'm like the most brutally pro Keon Ellis. Like, why is he not starting for Sacramento over Kevin Huerter? Yeah. I would not in my wildest dreams think that was a line that Keon Ellis. I had one of the guys who because I started to see the year with him in my team, and then we didn't start. I pissed him off. And one of my guys goes, "Good to see your boy Keon blowing up." I didn't even see it at the time. I was like, "Holy Jesus!" Yeah. Next game, I think he was 4 points, 6 points. It was such as the meteoric stratospheres of fantasy, and then the biggest lulls in the game after for all those people who picked. And then everyone picked him up. It was like, "Oh my God, I'm going to get Keon Ellis," and then he did that to everybody. Yeah. And look, the week, though, after this one, we'll come back to this one. We are looking at the week ahead. The next same week, you can look at the same guy. And I thought it was really interesting here. 2 of the same teams that we actually can finish our week 6 on are the same. We've got a couple of these guys. We noticed the Celtics and the Nets are back up to our tricks at the end of the week, though. But let's take you through the earlier ones in the week to get you started on here. Early on the week, like we said, on the Monday, on the Tuesdays, there are no back-to-backs in this one for the week. There are no back-to-backs Monday, Tuesday to start. On the Tuesday to Wednesday, we've got some Bulls, Rockets, Lakers, Heat, T-Wolves, Suns, Spurs, Jazz, and Wizards back-to-backs. So we can look there. Wednesday, Thursday, there's none. And Thursday and Friday. I kiss you. I just did.
What the hell was that?
I Googled NBA Thanksgiving games, and there was a whole bunch of pictures up there, beautiful media ones. And then all of a sudden there was this guy standing behind in a turkey costume and I'm dead to rights. Can we name the player? Do we think this is Kyle Anderson and his Memphis Grizzly Blues?
Yeah. Yeah, it's 100. Yeah, it's 100% slow-mo.
It's slow-mo. But anyway, that's all I could find because there is no one played on those back-to-backs for these games. Then we do kick it into the Friday to Saturday with the Hawks, the Pistons, and the Pistons on Friday and Saturday. Saturday and Sunday is the Mavs and the Jazz. And like we said, we can reroute our week back to the Celtics and the Nets, the Lakers, Heat, and Pels to finish the week off their Skiddy.
Beautiful, mate. Yeah, no, that's the thing that we pay attention to when we're going into these schedulings. Obviously, there's a couple of guys that you can look at as well for those players right to end the week off. Right, how you did also say, the Celtics, obviously they have a long break in the middle there, but you know, you can use one at the start, drop them, then pick them up later on after the Thanksgiving Day one there. Lakers will have some streams. Obviously, you got Dalton Connect up there if you need threes. I mean, he's very hit and miss, but there's some games where he can go all right. And then Pels, obviously, you can pretty much just draft. You can use the whole team there, really, because all of them are just chopping and changing, really.
And guys like Ed Missy are dropped when they're not playing a game, so people get them. So this is where we can look to pick up some value because, especially with the news that Zion's going to be out for a long time, he is probably just a good pickup now to have and to hold that middle roll down. He's obviously young. He's not doing the best work, but he's also not being bad at times. So it's definitely a pickup we want to look at when we're all talking about who's going to be the Memphis Grizzlies starter. We're looking at is it Zedi? Is it Well, then we look over to New Orleans, and then it's Missy, and he's starting, and he's doing it, and they're just running him out there. On the strength of schedule for the week, we can look at this as well. The strongest schedule of the week is the Mavericks, which is going to suck for all the Luka Doncic owners out there because the Mavericks have an absolutely easy schedule to start off the week. These guys have the Hawks, the Knicks, the Jazz, and the Trailblazers. So the Hawks, not much of a muchness. The Knicks will be a bit more of a challenge, but the Jazz and the Trailblazers aren't bringing them much. The Pacers have a pretty good schedule as well, but in the worst way of the schedule, we do have the T-Wolves. They've got the Rockets, the Kings, and the Clippers. So all who can put up a bit of a fight for these guys, but the quality games who are playing on those games that we can look at on the Tuesday and on the Saturday this week, these are the teams that do it. Now, the Bucks, they are on the 2-game week. They are the only teams that play on the low-volume days. The Suns, the Jazz, and the Wizards. So we could probably get some Suns actions in there a little bit. Let's just wait for that update, though, about Beal and KD before we go gangbusters on them. The Jazz, though, as always, there's guys we can add in the Utah Jazz, like Flipowski if he's back from his ankle injury. John Collins is an absolute stud this year and will continue to be. Cody Williams, we can bring in him. I've really liked Isaiah Collier getting minutes there, Skiddy. Yeah. It's in deeper leagues. It's probably the only real guy we can add with value. And apart from that, mate, is there anyone else probably in the Wizards, dare you say, you'd probably think about adding, or will you just cry yourself to sleep at night going, oh no, not the Wizards?
Brogdon, in fairness, had a double-double with rebounds as well the other day. They were leaning into him in the cup game. It just depends on how much they are going to put onto Brogdon's plate. But I can, he can still obviously get out there and do his thing. So I feel like you could have a swing at Brogo. There's a back-to-back there, the Tuesday, Wednesday. He may sit one of them as well. So maybe that does make it a bit harder. Go there. Also, too, I just want to say that I know that Wolves on the data radar have the hardest schedule. I think it's the Clippers, though. They got Boston and then Washington. If they didn't have that Washington game, it would be because then they go Minnesota and Denver. Holy shit, that's a tough week, except for the Washington game.
Except for the Washington game. Exactly. The second that Washington said, you're like, oh, it's not that bad. It's like, no, it's fine. We've got Washington later this week. Yeah, we got Washington.
I saw Boston, Minnesota, and Denver, and I went, geez, that's hard. And I went, but it's Washington.
It's Washington. Yeah, it's a little bit column A. It's actually a lot of column A difficulty, but that column B way. No, it's just, it's Jesus. You just imagine walking in like, oh, you've got the Trailblazers and the Washington Wizards this week. Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank God for that. Oh, you'd be circling that one on the calendar, being like, yep, beautiful.
I could probably I could get off my diet for the week and just eat a few more carbs.
In fairness, though, they did almost beat the Celtics. So let's put some respect on the Washington Wizards' name.
Like I said, thoroughly intrigued by the game, was watching it, thought they were actually probably going to dig it out, but they didn't because Alex Sarge just has a horrible field goal percentage. And
sorry, you said that you were watching the game, yeah?
Oh, yeah, I was watching. I had the day off and I was thoroughly intrigued. Yeah.
they looked great up until 4 minutes to go in the last quarter. And then it seemed like every single one of them didn't understand how to play offense or where to stand on offense or what to do on offense. Because it was literally give the ball to Poole or Kuzma and then just have them go ISO. And they were not doing well at it.
And Poole was looking to defer on every possession, but there was no cutting, there was no off-ball movement, and he's looking around. You could literally see him twisting his head, dribbling the ball, going like, "I want to pass it, please move, so I could pass you the ball." I was like, "What are you?" Which means one,
it was 2K offense,
Poole,
wasn't it?
It was 2K offense. It was 2K offense. No corner three. Just dish it out in the second. Offensive rebound, Valanciunas, pitch it out to you in the corner, and it's green money. Which brings us to this one. With such a chaotic week, there is no way that we should tell you who undefinably to add. We've given you a whole bunch of names and suggestions over this pod, but you are going to be in a fight for your fantasy lives as per usual. But with 6 days of fantasy action, it's a lot more competitive and it's a lot harder, especially with that day, as we see on our schedule, where we have 14 games on the Wednesday and 10 on the Friday and this Sunday. You might not have a lot of wiggle to wiggle. So my final advice, Skiddy, is to think like the DreamWorks iconic movie Robots. See a need, fill a need. Whatever you do on your roster this week, my only advice is we are not the Bible, and no analyst out there, not one of us who you're listening to or watching can tell you which guy to add that's going to help you win your week, because we've given you all the main guys to add. But you need to, Skiddy, look at your roster. Do you need rebounds? Do you need assists? What has your opponent not got that you can get? That's what you need to do in a week like this, mate, to win it. If you see a need, fill a need. That's what you need to do as an owner, as a fantasy manager. And that's the advice for me.
I love that. I reckon that's the best advice that you're going to get as well. So, yep, just keep on doing that. Also, too, Bojan Bogdanovic is looking like returning this week for the Nets. He's the other little one to notice. There is a chance where I would say that he could be a pickup. Not immediately, because obviously I reckon they're going to rest him a little bit and have a bit sporadically playing. But hey, we've seen what he can do in Detroit. So I mean, he could definitely fill a role on this Brooklyn team.
I'm telling you right now. By the way, I could literally show you this. This is the freakiest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. On Blue Sky, Jesus just followed me.
Oh wow.
That's the second that you started speaking about Bogdanovic, I'm like, wait a second, it's a miracle. Small Bojan miracles that happen everywhere. And dead to rights, though, I'm going to say this. I would not be surprised after today if we don't see Bojan Bogdanovic end up as a Los Angeles Laker in the near future.
Say that.
We know.
They don't have anyone to trade. They all suck.
They want picks. They can just offer up a bloody trade package and there's some salary, and they'll do it for a young guy. They'll send Max Christie away. They've got their 27, 29 back first rounders, and they are like, if they suck, they are beautiful picks, mate. They'll probably just send a D'Angelo Russell over there. So they need a better point guard.
No one wants D'Angelo Russell. Okay, not even JJ Redick wants D'Angelo Russell. No one wants D'Angelo Russell.
I'm telling you now, man.
Stop making me see all the trades where it's Brandon Ingram's going to the Lakers for D'Angelo Russell. No one wants D'Angelo Russell.
No, Brandon Ingram is not going to go back to the Lakers. There's no way, shape, or form that he's going back to the Lakers for D'Angelo Russell. That's just not going to. God, now I just know that this is going to be aggregated because it's going to happen probably in the next month, and all of a sudden we're going to be.
No one wants D'Angelo Russell.
No, I don't think they do, but I think they want someone young. They'd package a Hood Shafino and a couple of picks, and they could get someone who's a veteran like Bojan Bogdanovic. Because all we know, the Nets love young guys. And they don't want the old guys around. That's all I'm saying. And he's an old guy. They need leadership. And that's what they need. They need men in the room who can play basketball. And you need to like and subscribe to all things Insight. Make sure you do it down below right now. Hit the sub button. Get all the updates. This is week 6. Go get your W's. We'll see you soon.
No one wants D'Angelo Russell.